form of question and answer. My name is Fantasy, and I will be your host, and it is an honor to host this event. In a few moments, I will be introducing the mayor, but in the meantime, thank you to all the students present here. Thank you for showing up. Thank you to everyone that is watching us online, on live television. For tonight, I would please ask for everyone's cooperation. The system that we plan to go by is this. If you have a question, please raise your hand. If you raise your hand, the mic will be passed over to you. Introduce yourself, tell us what you're studying and what department you're from and school. Right? Please, I ask you to please keep your questions precise and to the point to afford everyone the opportunity to be able to ask questions. The mayor is here for us tonight. Ask him all your questions because this is the first of its kind to have that, where we have the mayor directly interact with people. It is my honor to introduce the Lord Mayor of the Canopy Municipality Council, Talib Ahmed Bensouda. Lord Mayor.
Hello, assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuhu. Good evening to you all, my fellow students and youths. It's quite a pleasure to be here with you today. And of course, we would like to thank you for attending this very unprecedented program called Ask the Mayor. And of course, the beautiful Fantasy for hosting. I see some faces I recognize. My brother Aziz, Lubna, several others here. Definitely, I'm proud to be here, to be amongst you all. I think part of my responsibility as a public official is to be subject to public scrutiny. So it is definitely important for me to interface with people in my constituent, which is the Canopy municipality. We engaged in a 2-week-long mayor's dialogue, and we just met 19 wards and 19 communities. So I thought it prudent, why don't we also meet one of our most important constituents, which is the best and the brightest, the students of the Canopy municipality. So I am here to answer every and any question you may have, with some limitations, but I am today at your service. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Lord Mayor. Are we ready now? Are we ready? Well, Lord Mayor, the floor is open. Who has the first question for me? Or for the mayor? You? Okay. Hold on, they're bringing the mic to you. Do not forget, please tell us your name, school, and what you're studying. Thank you.
Okay, Assalamu alaikum everyone. Assalamu alaikum everyone, my fellow academians. It's a pleasure to meet all of us in this very important initiative. But the question I want to ask Mayor is that this initiative is very important. It's an important initiative, but I was suggesting like it could have been the best initiative since at your initial stage, by the time you step in office. Like for say, let's say every 3 months or every 6 months, at least you can have this dialogue with the students, like the challenges they are facing. I think it's also very important because there are some challenges you can bypass the protocol and go direct to the State House to meet the president. As we all fall within the Canopy municipality, I believe that's the right protocol. So I'm right now, I'm pleading to you like, I have the belief and confidence that you will win the election because we have seen what you have been doing. Yeah, because we have been following your CAPS project and we have seen what you did. And in this country, it's very easier to see the visibility of the people who are working. But one thing I want to plead you, make sure that after the election, please, you and your team, let's say every 3 or every 6 months, try to have this initiative with these students, because the students, they are facing a lot of challenges. As a student leader, we know how the students are facing. Yeah, and sorry for later introduce myself. My name is Babakar Kasama. I'm the SG of the MBA Students Union. I'm studying banking and finance at higher national diploma level. Thank you.
Thank you, Babukar. I think that's a very important question. Just so you know, maybe many have not been following, but the Mayor's Dialogue, this is the 3rd edition. We held the first one in 2018 and 2019, and in 2020, of course, there was coronavirus, and we couldn't hold public events again. We wanted to hold actually this Mayor's Dialogue in 2022, but given logistics and delays, we had to hold it now. But I think I've been meeting students throughout my time as mayor. I think if you ask your various university associations, of course, the UTG, SU, Gambia College, Gambia Nursing School, I have met all your leadership and committees at different times during my time as mayor. But this idea of having it as a general interface is a novel idea for Gambia. However, we see it in other countries. We see, for example, Paul Kagame, the president of Rwanda, who has a youth forum every year. So in this edition of the Mayor's Dialogue, we thought we would add it, but I think that's a great suggestion. I think this is something we will look to be doing in the foreseeable future. Thank you for that.
Thank you very much. Question number 2. You? Okay.
Assalamu alaikum. Honorable, can I use the local language, please, if you don't mind? Thank you. Abaraka bake ka platform odina. Ketanya kontan koti. Mbala flaka dia mandika kaula. Mba dia la mandika kaula mina karola wala ekanyamo faidan. Dumping side bakote. Niajibe bakote dumping side. Dolba fola satele dumping side taraje dolba fola dumping side wala sate taraje. Barbiri atata fakuma da futata jada kende ala karola wala side. Jada dumping side nata for side jada kende amantora. Itanila mola na baro sansandiro la cool. Ale min plan dola sota wo dula la cool. Kantu niya jibe anyanta bondila and anyanta bondila because min get a sign. Aba jada kenda mantora kana. Niya jibe loptano min bola atara for loptan for la milan ko sutiata wo dula. SOS o konse abakono le already. SOS Children's Village abakono le already. Mi yalan ko fakumata wala. Woda danola foninkela mamandula woda mala sora SOS school bijele bakote proper bije bakote upper bije and other stuffs. So actually min plan dola sort in future to evacuate that place. If not evacuate, what are the measures you should take? Thank you.
Sorry, what's the name? Sorry.
I'm Abdullah said the new health minister for Gambia College students.
Okay, health minister. Thank you. Thank you so much. I think that's a very important question. I think that's a very important question about the Bakote Dome site. Of course, Bakote Dome site is by far the biggest health crisis in the Gambia. And as he rightly said, is by a school, is surrounded by a community, is surrounded by SOS, Save Our Souls, which is a children's orphanage. The Bakote Dome site, unfortunately, cannot be solved completely by the Kanifing Municipal Council. The reason being, local councils cannot allocate land. We are not responsible for land management. That mandate and that right and that legality is under the Ministry of Lands and Local Government. So since we came into office, I think what you really want to know is what strides and what steps have we taken to try to relocate the dump site? And just also, we just don't want to relocate it. We want it to be in a place where it's remote, one. Two, it is not just a dump site, but an engineered landfill. So the backwater dump site faces what in the Western world they call the NIMBY problem, not in my backyard. Today, if we take the backwater dump site away from KMC, who would like the backwater dump site in their neighborhood? Would you like it in West Coast region, in Jabang, in Birkama? Nobody wants it. So the right thing for government to do is to come up with a strategy to ensure that when we do close backwater, we come up with what we call an engineered landfill. So the dump site, if it's to maintain or remain, should be changed from a dump site to what they call a transfer station. I know you're the health minister, and you probably know some environmental studies. Transfer stations are locations where waste is taken to, sorted, recycled, and what cannot be reused is transferred to an engineered landfill where it is buried correctly. Buried correctly in the sense, when they dig a hole, they create a membrane. The membrane in some countries they create it with clay, in other countries they create it with a film. The reason being, over time, as that waste decomposes, the leachage doesn't go down and poison the water table. So with backwater dump site, what we are facing is a risk of the water table for up to 5 kilometers radius being poisoned. This is water you're drinking from your wells. This is water you are showering in. And who knows, many deaths are happening in Gambia and the autopsy report is not concluded or conclusive. It may be as a result of chemicals being thrown into the water table by the backwater dump site. So we have engaged government, we have engaged the West Coast region. We created a task force. This task force, Banjul City Council was there, KMC was there, BAC, and Ministry of Environment, and of course, Ministry of Lands and Local Government. We identified 3 sites. This was in 2019. And the site they eventually chose as the appropriate site to transfer the backwater dump site or to create an engineered landfill was Faraba. But we all know the history in Faraba with Gambia government. So when the community was engaged, they rejected it. And for this reason, we as a local council don't have the power to transfer the backwater dump site. As you know, KMC is also the most urbanized municipality. It is the most built-up municipality. There's no remote lands. So this is solely the responsibility of the Ministry of Lands and Local Government. But for the past 5 years, we've been advocating that they must take this step. Because the backwater dump site, as we speak, is having a lot of flooding problems now during the rainy season because it's full to capacity. In the dry season, it is burning. It is disturbing the health of the entire community of Bakwate, Manjai, and Dipakunda. So we need it moved. It is overdue. It is long overdue. But this is now at the table of the Ministry of Lands of Local Government. What we can do as a council is to mitigate the risk. So as you have seen in the past 5 years, we have used taxpayers' funds and created a 1.8 kilometer fence to keep the hazards within. We have also, with the German government and the SOS, secured a grant of up to $42 million to build infrastructure in there. If you go there today, you will see that we have built concrete roads. We are building a recycling hangar. We are bringing a shredding machine. We are building a water filtration system to keep fires off. So we are doing as much as we can as council, but it's time for government to step in. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Another question? Who? There.
Good evening to each and everybody. My name is Amadou Sane. I'm a student of MDI, studying foreign diplomacy and international relations. I'm Lord Mayor. I have so many questions for you. And I believe today is my great day to face you. But I will give you 2 questions. Yes. Yeah. We have Mbalit project. And that Mbalit project is the most talked about in this municipality. Here in KMC, we are paying tax. We are paying house rate. But this Mbalit project, the KMC is collecting money. And my question is, what are those money is used for? The second question is, since ministerial post is a political appointment, and you are in a different political party with the ruling government, what is your relationship with the Minister of Local Government and Lands? Since you've made mention that the council is not responsible to allocate lands for the dump site, what is your relationship with the local Minister of Local Government and Lands, since you are in a different political party?
Sorry, the name was? Amadou. Thank you, Amadou. I think that's a very important question. If I may just say, the Mbalit project is the most talked about project in the municipality because it's the greatest project this municipality has ever embarked on. As you have seen with the latest CEPRAS survey, 4% of Birkama Area Council residents say their waste is being collected by the council. Imagine 4%. In KMC is above 70%. And before we came into council, it was less than 1%. When you go to BCC, a much smaller area, but of course they've done well, is 99%. But for me, I think KMC has done better because, one, most of our road infrastructure is not built, unlike Banjul. 2, Banjul is 5% of our population. So if we can collect 75% of over 500,000 people's waste on a daily basis, 85,000 households, 35,000 compounds, 15,000 businesses, I think this is why the Mbalit project is the most talked about project. Now, your question was, why are we asking people to pay upfront? Now, when we were coming up with this project, remember, we came from a position of weakness, a position of desperation, because we did not find anything on the ground. There was literally 2 tractors, open tractors, that we found on the ground. Now, of course, that cannot collect any waste in this municipality. And aside from the households, we also have 19 markets. So we had to come up with something bold, something unprecedented that could solve this problem once and for all. And we had to be bright and brilliant because we did not have the resources, nor did we have the credibility. Nobody trusted KMC at that point to work with us. So we had to come up with the Mbalit project. And this was a project that we advertised to the general public via what we call an expression of interest. Now, based on this expression of interest, businesses can come and say, okay, I have a solution. I think I can solve the waste problem. Based on the people who approached us, we realized that, okay, we may be able to find partners. Then let's go to tender. And the rules of procurement of the Gambia, via the GPPA Act, is you must advertise an RFP. So we advertised a request for proposal. We received 2 bids, one from TK Motors and one from Espas Motors. The TK Motors bid, though, did not have a pre-financing arrangement, and we don't have money. We found a $9 million overdraft when we came to KMC in 2018. So naturally, we had to go with somebody who could pre-finance, leaving Espas alone. So Espas went into negotiations with our contracts committee. I'm sorry for taking a long route, but I just want you guys to appreciate the context of the Mbalit project. So based on that pre-financing arrangement and that negotiation, we entered into contract for the procurement of 24 trucks. Every ward is allocated 1, plus 4 trucks that would do general service for public areas and public institutions. So this is how it started. Now, how do we pay for this project? Where 80% of KMC residents are non-compliant when it comes to their property rates. Many people will tell you they pay their rates. I dare you to ask them for their receipt. They cannot produce it. We are only able to collect about 20% of people's property rates. And the reason being is what is wrong with Gambia in general. 40 years ago, 50 years ago, addresses were not instituted. Urban planning was not conducted very well. So if you do not know where somebody lives, who owns a certain property, it will be very difficult to collect taxes effectively from that person. And this is the same problem utilities companies are facing. This is the same problem telecoms is facing. This is the same problem most businesses are facing. Remember, when you were younger, probably not you, because you are very young, but in the 80s, Gambia had a billing system. People who are in their 40s now will remember that Gamtel used to give you bills. NAWEC used to give you electricity bills. How come today everybody is paying prepaid? It's because there's no addressing system. You cannot trace bill payers. I remember about 10 to 15 years ago, NAWEC had areas, Gamtel had areas of up to $2 billion in unpaid bills. So this is why utilities now, for example, cash power, you have to pay to get service. Same as with your telephone. You have to buy credit to be able to make calls. It is because something is fundamentally wrong with how we are developing the Gambia. We are building a Gambia with no foundation. So when we came to say, how can we effectively pay for this Mbalit project, we realized the revenue was not there. Council was making, at that time in 2018, $117 million a year with a 9 million overdraft, meaning our bills and our expenses and our revenue was on par, and there was a budget deficit. So we had to come with a novel idea of how do we charge upfront for the waste. And remember, this is just a token. We're charging people $10 on collection. Effectively, that accumulates to $15 million a year for the entire municipality. But to keep the Mbalit project up and running cost the council up to $20 million a year. So we are effectively actually making a deficit when it comes to those charges. Who pays for the difference, 5 million, is the taxes. And who is actually paying for the purchase of the truck is the taxes. So the reason we are charging that token, one, is to control the limit of waste a person can put in the truck. Because we have to control that for the project to work. If people are putting any amount of waste, unlimited amounts of waste, it would not be fair, meaning you would miss certain compounds because one person has put too much waste. So that's why we charge, for one reason. The other reason is also sustainability. The former council once had 20 tractors, which is actually not the right equipment for waste collection. Tractors are for farming. Because for one, when you use a tractor, as it goes, it will drop waste on the highway. For two, it has a very limited capacity. Three, it stenches the entire environment when it passes. So that's the wrong equipment. But remember, the council once had tractors. How come when we came into office, they were not there? Sustainability. We do not want a time where we leave office, another person comes and has to start from scratch. That is not progress. That is regressing. And these machinery cost a lot of money. So because we have a replenishment plan, and until such a time everybody is paying their taxes, we had to do this service, pay for service upfront. Secondly, you asked about our relationship with the Minister of Local Government. I have no problem with the Minister of Local Government. Once we were close buddies, maybe not so much anymore. But government is not personal. This is a public institution. These are offices that are owned by the public. We are occupants who are servants at a short period in time. So I don't see our relationship as an impediment to cooperation or for the reason of serving Gambians' supreme interest. However, there is a challenge, of course, between local governments and central governments. And I think this challenge is not partisan completely. It is a bit complicated because, of course, I am an opposition party, but it is a power struggle, we call it. Because remember, in the time of a mayor called Lai Conte, he was the same party with the president of the day, and they were fighting on a daily basis. So this is Gambia's democratic system maturing. In our constitution, it recognizes pluralism. What that is Gambia's governance system recognizes many authorities and decentralization and devolution of power. However, in practice, government still wants to monopolize power and control. And this is the struggle that councils encounter on a daily basis. I think it is just Gambian institutions or Gambia government maturing and understanding that they cannot do the heavy lifting alone. They need councils to also develop their communities as they develop the macro issues. I hope that answers your question.
Thank you very much, Lord Mayor. And please, I'd like to remind everyone to please one question at a time, and please let us endeavor to keep it concise so we can afford everyone the opportunity to ask. Yes, young lady, you. I'll take a girl. I'll take a girl now.
Good evening, everyone. Lord Mayor, the question that I have for you is that a rumors has been going that the Malik project is a scam. I want you to make it clear for me, please. Okay, sorry. I am Memuna MB Jata, a student of Majak, Media Academy for Journalism and Communication.
Thank you, Maimuna. I think, how can I answer this politely? I think, so when you say rumors, I don't know how to respond to rumors. I mean, if you have a rumor, you have to back it with evidence. And I think, I think yesterday I was on radio, on Faraya Radio, and the journalist had the same question. I said, well, I think I should ask you. You're a journalist. Your fundamental role is to investigate and prove rumors and hearsay and come and report. KMC is a public institution. All the documents are public. All our processes are public. And people do not know that mayors are not signatories to any account. Mayors do not have access to money. The chairperson of the contracts committee of every council, by law, is the chief executive officer. So we do not have a role in the procurement of services or equipment for councils. However, when you say, I hear a rumor that it is a scam, these are very loose things. But I'll tie it back to the other question. I think it was from Babukar. I think from Amadou. I think what happens in Gambia sometimes is that people fight progress instinctively and they don't even know why. I mean, you were living in a time where you had no waste collection service. Now you have trucks going on a daily basis to your doorstep. And all of a sudden, it's a problem for some people to accept. And because it's a problem now, that they feel that this should not exist or this certain person should not be this progress, now I have to create rumors to minimize this progress. But what they're doing effectively is they're demoralizing others who might have similar ideas. They're demotivating others who might want to bring landmark changes, who might want to have impact. And I think that's very negative for young people like yourselves. Of course, I am a public officer. I am open to scrutiny. And of course, I must accept the challenge of having to prove that things are done correctly and monies of taxpayers are accounted for in my council. But when you do come up with a rumor, or when you come up with an accusation, I think the rightful thing to do, fair play dictates that you must also back it with evidence. I think I'll rest my case there.
Thank you. Him, the one in red.
Good evening to you all. I am Alaji Sise. Thank you very much for giving us this opportunity to ask you a question. This is very, very important, and thank you very much for allowing deaf people to also participate in this. This is very important. Thank you. I am a student of, I'm a year one student of GTTI. I'm studying electronics, but I'm struggling with payment to pay the bill, school bills. So I want to ask the mayor if mayor is also giving scholarship to Gambians. If yes, what about persons with disabilities or deaf people? I think we also needed to have access to some of these things. Because the reason why I came up with this decision to study electronics is to make ends meet. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Alaji, right? Alaji Sise. And of course, I want to commend you and congratulate you for proving that you are not disabled, but differently able. You have talents and skills. And of course, going to learn to be an electrician, we really are happy about that. I'm very proud of you. I first want to say that KMC, I think, has done unprecedented things when it comes to people of differently able. I think we're the first council, I dare say maybe the first government institution that has nominated a person from the differently able to come and sit in an elected body to represent their constituents. I don't think that has ever been done. And I think it's been a positive change where we've seen government also at the parliamentary level try to copy, and of course other councils. And we are very proud of that, to have initiated that change. We do have a standing committee on education. It is chaired by Councillor Bine Marong, the councillor representing women and children. I think she's here present. We also have a differently able councillor in the name of Momodu Bahum, who was formerly the director at the Gambia Federation of Disabled. And I think all matters as far as education are concerned and as far as your constituents are concerned do go through them. What I would say is council budgets about, I believe, 1 million, up to 1 million for differently able initiatives. And we do have an education budget of, I believe, up to 3 or 4 million, which includes, of course, subventions to our school, Charles Jau, and of course, support to people who are talented students in need of scholarships. So I think for everybody out there, you write a letter to the office of the mayor, and I do refer it to those committees for scrutiny and decision. Thank you, Alaji.
Thank you very much. You, yes, please, your name. No, the one in the red. Yes. Your name and school.
Very important.
Thank you.
Good evening, everyone here. It gladdens my heart to want to be in this gathering today. My name is Abdullah Bikoli, a student of the Gambia College on the School of Education. I am the current sport minister of the GCSU, that is the Students' Union. Following the histories of this gentleman sitting here before us, when I was told today that we're supposed to meet you as a college students union, I make some rigorous studies about his developmental plans on this very much region, which is KMC. But with what I saw, it's like things are very much impressive. Away from that, and then before away from that, let me thank you, Honorable Lord Mayor of KMC. On your deliberation here earlier, I heard you and then saying like your target was the schools within the KMC, and we are from BAC. So I want to ask whether we will be permitted to give our questions, or let me say we will be having our questionnaires to you. Yes, if yes, may I proceed? Yes. Thank you very much.
Yes, please.
Yes. Sorry for that. I want to quote from the Local Government Act on the Part 5, under the subsections of 63, 4, and 5. It talks about the education, as you rightly mentioned here, as the standing committees. It is clearly stipulated there that The Lord Mayor, together with his committee members, are responsible for managing all the affairs or monitoring all the educational systems within its jurisdictions. So now here I am saying the college, which is the one of the oldest tertiary institution of this country, its development is at stake. And you also made mention here that you have been making some visits to the college. I want to know whether you have been making some consultations with its previous GCSU members who were there, that is the Students' Representative Union, which were there. Because looking at the Gambia College, one, we lack what we call waste management. Our management of waste is lacking in both the schools, because we have a school of education, we have school of public health, we have school of RN, that is midwifery at Banjul, we have school of agriculture. Some of these three schools are all stationed in Bikama, and the other school is stationed at Banjul. So I want to know which mechanisms have you been using to make sure that you at least remedy the situation of waste management skills. That's number one. The next.
I'm sorry to interrupt. I did say one question per person at a time. So please allow the mayor to answer this question. Yes. And when you get another chance, you can ask your second question.
It's one question, but it's pregnant.
But
yes.
The baby's been born. The baby has been born. Thank you. I'll get back to you though. I'll get back to you. Allow him to answer this.
So
please.
Anyway.
I'll get back to you.
Okay, thank you.
Just allow him to answer this one. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm sure when it gives birth, you can ask again.
Absolutely.
Basically, I think your question is in line. Councils are responsible for a vast areas. Just like in other countries, every issue in a municipality or in a region, a council is responsible to provide services, is responsible to provide solutions. However, in Gambia, we don't have a fully decentralized system. Part of decentralization is government must devolve power to councils to allow them to provide these services. As you know well, the education sector is completely monopolized by the Ministry of Education. And of course, there's the basic education and there's the higher education. I think that is responsible for universities. So I think one of the things that the decentralization policy was trying to promote was that government should empower councils, resource councils, make sure councils are capacitized to take care of some of these local issues, such as schooling. Now, how we work around it, like I said, we have an education committee. We cannot completely solve the issues of universities or interfere in their management and the running of these universities. However, we do provide support services. So for example, if your student union or a student body or an association was to go to a field trip to Dakar, we do sometimes support in the logistics, sometimes support monetarily. It might not be enough, but it is what the council is able to do. Now, in the sense that you would like council to support as far as waste management is concerned, I believe we do. If we don't, that would be a surprise. However, I was at the UTG, the MDI over, I think 2 weeks ago, and I spoke to some of the students about how they manage the waste within the school. They found it necessary to conduct a set-setal within the campus. And I thought that was quite surprising, given that these are students who are supposed to be progressives, who are supposed to be the leaders of tomorrow. You should not really be having littering at the campus level. So they had an issue where students were littering all over the place, and they had to conduct a set-setal to clean it up. So I think the relationship you have with waste is quite critical to the future of Gambia, because you're the future leaders. You are the ones to come up with environmental policies. You are the ones to become the Minister of Environment, etc. So I think that needs to be looked at. As far as how we support the campuses within the municipality, I believe MDI, a couple of years ago, we gave them a few hundred bins to help them with their waste management. And I think to date, we do collect their waste. Maybe because you come from Birkama, that's why you have different issues. But for KMC, I think we are ahead, like as far as the survey is concerned. Thank you.
Please keep it precise and don't forget to introduce yourself. Thank you.
My warm greetings to my mayor and my fellow students. My name is Jaje Bojang, studying at University of Applied Science, Engineering and Technology. I'm currently studying business management, and I am the president of the Business Studies Network. My question is, as a business student, the unregulated market that we are having, what I want to know is, can the mayor do something about it? Because what I know is that as a leader, you must have some strategy when there is unregulated market to force the sellers to reduce their prices. So which I am not seeing in our region. So I want to hear from my mayor, what are some of the things that he can do about this unregulated market? It is really, yeah.
I wish I could do much about it, because even myself, I am suffering from inflation. The demands at the house is increasing every month. But I think this is the responsibility of government. Regulation of prices in a market is government's responsibility. That is not something we can do. I think this GCC, Gambia Competitive Commission, I think that's the agency that deals with price regulation. And I think it's something that government should intervene in, because of course we are a country that has a lot of self-employed people and with very low incomes. And one way to protect them, of course, is to provide price ceilings on basics, either through subsidies or etc. I believe in fuel, government says they are providing subsidies, but I think it should be widespread, because many people, of course, are suffering, and they, of course, rely on remittances for their day-to-day. Unfortunately, as far as the laws of the Gambia are concerned, councils do not have power to interfere in prices of basic commodities.
Thank you. I would now like to move that side, that young lady.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening, Mr. Lord Mayor. My name is Aminata Sow, a student from Hadigala College, School of Nursing. I'm studying CHN, Community Health Nurse. My question is, Mr. Lord Mayor, if you are elected into office, what are the things that you have, what are the plans that you have for the health facilities within your municipality, particularly in provision of ambulance service and paramedics?
It's Ami, right?
Yeah, Aminata.
All right. I think as far as health facilities are concerned, it's the same answer with the education. Health is monopolized by the Ministry of Health. However, we do support. I think 3 months back, the council donated 9 ambulances to about 9 community clinics. So I think this is unprecedented, and we will continue to provide as much support as possible. Just this morning, we gave a donation to Serakunda Hospital, including wheelchairs, sanitary napkins, adult diapers, etc. The women councillor just represented us. So with every opportunity we have, with all the partners we can get, we will continue to support the health of the community.
Thank you. It's fine.
Good evening to you all. I am Fatou Jokoli, teacher at St. John's School for the Deaf. I just completed the Gambia College. Thank you very much for creating this platform. We all know that persons with disabilities struggle a lot when they want to access public buildings, especially those on wheelchairs. So, Mayor, we learned that you've done a lot of projects within this short while, like such as your CAP project and other projects. Are all your buildings accessible to persons with disabilities, especially those on wheelchair?
Sorry, the name was? Fatmata. I think this is an excellent question. And I think if Mamadou Bahum was here, he's here, he would say in every council meeting, he does advocate for this. Unfortunately, this is not true for all buildings in KMC. It is going to be true for new buildings that we build. And I think this is why we brought your representative on board. Because when I met the people of differently able, persons with disabilities at the Serekunda West Stadium in 2017, when I was campaigning for my first mandate, they asked me, Mayor, we do struggle a lot, lack of basic infrastructure for the people who are differently able, from getting taxis to getting on buses. It was a very emotional meeting, and I said, look, I don't have all the solutions right now. What I can promise, I can get you a representative on council. And I think since then, Momodu has been advocating that in every new building we create, including the public library we're building, to ensure there's ramps, toilets for persons of differently able. 2 weeks ago, we had a meeting to build a assembly hall at Charles Jow School. And he did ask, is there a toilet for the differently able? And because of that question, is one of the reasons we postponed the meeting for our planning department to create that facility. So I think that's the benefit of having him there.
Thank you very much. I would like to, the lady up there in red. Don't be like Babu Kara. Can you please step forward a little bit?
Good evening, everyone. Good evening, Mayor. My name is Awambay. I am a student of MDI, studying IR, International Relations. Well, Mayor, when I was coming here today, I met with a woman. I told her that I am going to meet the mayor for the first time, that we are having a interface communication with the mayor. What she told me was that she's very annoyed with you because you said that you are going to remove them on where they used to sit and make sales. That is around Serekunda Market. So I want to ask, you as the mayor and you are planning for another mandate, how are you going to tackle your differences with people that are having issues with the plans that you have in the future? Can you please answer that question for us?
So I think this is Madam Bai, right? This is a standard issue we have at KMC. As I said, Gambia has a problem of unemployment. Most people are self-employed, and they would like to go where it's easiest to make an income. And unfortunately, most times, the areas they do choose are areas that are not for selling. And these are pedestrian walkways, these are feeder roads, these are in front of people's compounds. So it is a big challenge, especially around market areas. And for the residents of Bartes, for example, London Corner, we have a big push and pull. Vendors want to leave markets and sell on streets. And of course, residences don't want people to sell in front of their houses. Shops don't want people to sell in front of their businesses. So it's a matter of what is the law and what is best for the greater good. Because one problem we do face in Serekunda, for example, one vendor will leave the market and go sell on the street. Before you know it, the market is empty. Because every other vendor will say, I am paying taxes, I am paying rent, I am sitting inside the market waiting for customers. Why should another person leave the premises of the market and go capture the customers on the street? Meaning the customers never enter the market. So it's a very complex problem. It is not that the mayor will sit and say, oh, go remove this lady or go clear that street. These are laws of the land. And these are bylaws of the council. It is not that the mayor is instructing police to say, do this, do that. No. We are politicians. I want to make everybody happy. I want everybody to vote for me. And this is why we don't even interfere in such activities. we allow the police to operate based on the laws and the policy of the council. But what is true is we do have a street vendor problem. We have a problem where every Gambian feels that they need to sell on the street to make ends meet. But this creates a ripple effect of problems. One, they will block pedestrian routes. Two, they will prevent customers from entering shops of tax-paying vendors. And three, of course, they create a lot of litter. Pay attention to every area that is littered and left littered overnight. It is because of street vendors. Look at the gutters, for example. It is even creating flooding because every street vendor by a gutter would use the gutter as their waste bin. And when the rainy season comes, what happens? Flooding occurs. So this is an issue we have all over the municipality. So ask that madam and say it's not mayor who's pushed you off the street. It is actually just standard police operations. Sometimes we even get calls from our own relatives. From our own relatives, we got calls and say, your police officers did this to me, has did that to me. And I said, well, I cannot intervene. That's the job of the police. Because once I intervene, it means then everybody can do it. And I am breaking the law as mayor. So it is not a decision we make. We are policy makers. We make rules for the greater good and allow for those rules to work. So basically, this is my answer for that.
The young lady right there.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Aret Jata. Okay, so the question I have for the Lord Mayor is, during your tour at the Sarakunda market, you promised to build a market worth 40 million. Now, I haven't seen the market yet, but I know it's going to be big. So a market that big right now, one of the problems KMC has is controlling waste. Now, more market means more waste. What plans do you have to control that amount of waste for a market worth 40 million? Dialysis, thank you so much.
I think we have a plan to create 7 markets in KMC and 1,000 vendor spaces. The reason for that plan is actually because of the question that came before yours is about the street vendor problem. So when our police ask street vendors to get off the street and go into the market, a standard complaint we have is there's no space in the market. There's not enough shops in the market. So over the years, we try to develop a carrot and stick approach, meaning we will just not tell people don't sell on the street, but we will try to provide them a safe shop that is with the facilities, meaning public toilets, etc., electricity, where they can be. So we created a company called Canifing Municipal Markets with a plan to create 7 markets over 4 years at a tune of 240 million. So these markets will be placed in diverse areas, in strategic areas around the municipality to ensure that they can accommodate all these vendors. And of course, Serakunda's market is planned to be at Mbari Dembo, which should have 93 shops and will cost around $40 million. I don't think that's going to change the waste dynamic of the municipality. Actually, I think it will help us store and collect waste in a more responsible fashion, because shopkeepers tend to store their waste better than somebody selling on the street. We will have less waste to collect from the ground and more waste to collect in containers. So I think actually it will help the waste management of the municipality rather than not help it. That's my answer to that.
Thank you. The one right behind you. Yes.
Good evening, Mr. Lord Mayor. My name is Sana Valde, a student of the Gambia College School of Nursing and Midwifery in Banjul. My question to you is a constraint faced by the public, particularly students. If you could observe very well, your office doorstep or front, I can say, is one of the hottest spots of struggle for transport. And one of the reasons are drivers do complain they don't have garage, and it's very obvious that if you go around your council, you will find out that all the garages are located in junctions. causing traffic jam, delay in routes to workplaces, schools, and etc. What plans does your council have for these issues that the public and particularly students are facing, preventing them from attending lectures on time and going back to their respective residences on time, facing so many other difficulties on routes going to and from work, school, and whatsoever? Thank you.
Thank you. That is a very important question. I think I answered it 2 days ago at some interview. It is true, all the garages that are in KMC are either at the street junctions or in front of houses or in random areas. Over the years, there has not been the creation of garages around the municipality, meaning well-structured garages with proper infrastructure. The problem is we have an issue with urban planning. Let me say it like that. In municipalities around the world, municipalities or local government authorities are allowed to do urban planning, meaning land use is decided at the local council, zoning is decided at the local councils, even with billboards, where you can have billboards, where you cannot have them, what standard of billboards you should have, etc. But in the Gambia, councils are not responsible or are not allowed to manage the land resources within their region. And this creates the problem. Because the reason councils are created in the first place is to create that closeness to the local community, meaning your desires, your thoughts, your ideas, the struggles you go through, we are in a position to create solutions. And part of creating those solutions is the ability to do land management. So when you go to, for example, Madison City Council in the United States, the mayor told me they do land planning up to 30 years in consultation with the community, where a church can be, where a mosque can be, where certain businesses can be, the heights of buildings, etc. And councils control this through permits and licenses. But in the Gambia, no council has authority to allocate land or to create land planning or urban planning. As we speak, KMC has 40-something properties, meaning markets, community centers, football parks, etc. Can you believe 3 years ago, we asked for the leases of these properties, just so we can safeguard the wealth of the municipality and the people. And to date, we have not received a single lease. So even the office I sit in, even the building we are in, we don't have a lease for it. And this is what we talk about as far as devolution of power is concerned. Today, if I cannot even get a lease for the very building I sit in, or for the very market I own, or the football field I own, how can I create car parks? How can I create new resources for people? How can I create new services that depend on land resources? It's not possible. Also, when the OIC project started, and when we came into office in 2018, we had a consultation meeting about roads they intended to build within the municipality. One of the major problems that came up was car sellers and mechanics on the areas of roads they were supposed to expand. And we came up with a plan through a task force we developed. The Ministry of Infrastructure was there, Works and Transport was there, the Ministry of Lands was there, OIC Secretariat was there, the Secretary General's office from the State House was there. We identified 3 areas we thought would make perfect garages. One was in Abuko, one was in Kamalo. These are border areas to KMC, and one was central in Kotu. However, this plan was killed at some point by the Ministry of Lands and Local Government, i.e. they had other plans for those lands. So without the control at the local government authority, because we are directly answerable to the people, it would be very difficult for us to create services or manage resources that could plow back benefits to the people. So we do want to create garages. We believe there's termination points in the municipality. Like I said, when you're leaving our municipality going to Banjul or coming through our municipality from Banjul, that's the Kamalo area, and of course Abuko. And we wanted a central one that where cars can park for transit. But without control over our own land resources, this is not possible. And this is why every time we are crying that we want devolution of power. We want the Constitution to be amended, or the Local Government Act, sorry, not the Constitution, the Local Government Act to be amended to give more power to councils to manage their affairs and the resources within their borders. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'll take one last question from that end, and then we'll go for a quick break. And then I'll come to this side.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My name is Tida Jaite, a student from Hadigala College. I am studying CHN, Community Health Nurse. My question goes, it's concerned about the entrepreneurs in the Gambia, because we are students, but we are doing business. But the market, the shops in the market are very expensive, because I've once been to Latrikunda. I asked about the shop, they said 49,000, and I'm a student. I'm struggling to work on my business while studying, and also I have seen that I cannot pay that, but I really, really need a shop to work on myself and then to have myself and any other things that I need. So I want you to tell us, how are you going to work on that so that the price of the shops can reduce, because it's very costly.
Thank you. Madam Jaite, I think Latrikunda Sabeji market is perhaps our most expensive market. I was there just 3 days ago, and we heard these complaints. And actually, it's at the committee level right now to look at the prices again. I think when you go to Serakunda, being a more cosmopolitan area, more a busy area, is cheaper than Latrikunda Sabeji. So I can assure you, as we speak, is at the committee level being looked at. I was just there 2 days ago at the market itself, and we did hear these complaints. The youth councillor is here, Kemo Bojang. One of the things he's trying to advocate for is that when we do develop these new structures, we create affirmative action, meaning there's a quota that we will allocate to youths in business. So I think that would be an initiative that he would champion once these markets are completed.
Thank you very much. And at this juncture, we will go for a quick 10-minute break. When we're back, more questions and more answers from the mayor. Thank you.
We are happy to announce the launch of our new logo. We have evolved since our incorporation in 1997, and it is time to refresh our new look to reflect who we are today. Before I reveal our new look, however, walk with me while I take you through our journey of the last 25 years. Trust Bank was incorporated on July 3rd, 1997 and began operations on October 1st, 1997. Following the collapse of the parent company of its predecessor, Meridian, the CBG stepped in and recapitalized the bank and held the shares in trust, thus the name Trust Bank. In 1999, the first investors who responded to the IPO and paid $1.50 per share received their maiden dividend of 50 bututs per share. In 2000, the bank fully paid back its investment by declaring another dividend of $1.20 bututs per share, making it a cumulative dividend per share of $1.70, which was 20 bututs above the purchase price. Between 2002 to date, share capital has increased from $27 million to $200 million, indicating that the bank has grown organically by plowing back profits to increase capital, while at the same time paying dividends to shareholders. The bank was listed on the Ghana Stock Exchange in November 2002, being the first ever cross-border listing in the sub-region. Now let's talk about awards. The bank was awarded the insignia of the National Order of the Republic of the Gambia, ORG, in the year 2010 by His Excellency the President of the Republic of the Gambia. During the past years, the bank has received so many national and international awards. Banker Magazine, 6 times. Global Finance, 6 times. Gambia Chamber of Commerce and Industry, 5 times. We began operations with 3 branches. Now, we have 18 branches and 20 ATMs and counting. On digital services, mobile app, check. Online banking, check. Transaction alerts, check. Watch this space. We've got more coming. Creating employment, yes, we've got that too. 400 and counting. And we take great care of our people too. Medical insurance, life insurance, private and state pensions, annual pilgrimages for both Muslims and Christians, training, yes, we do them all. One team, one family, one goal. That's the Trust Bank spirit. On corporate social responsibility, we have spent over $50 million in various courses. We care, and so we share. Over the years, we have paid over $1.6 billion to our shareholders, which translates to a whopping $20 per share and counting. Phenomenal returns for our shareholders who purchased at $1.50. Corporate taxes, over $1 billion is paid. Our journey started with a vision to create the kind of company that delivers quality services and innovative products with an inspired team dedicated to serving our customers, our environment, and our communities at large in the most caring manner. We remain fully committed to delivering excellent services to each of our stakeholders, customers, employees, shareholders, and partners. So, we remain true to who we have always been. As we look forward to greater achievements, we are rebranding to reflect who we are today and the future that we inspire. Our new logo has been designed to visually demonstrate our Gambian heritage and the sophisticated nature of the bank. We are moving away from the navy and gold-colored parallelogram-shaped logo to our baobab tree with a rising sun in the background. The striking outline of a baobab tree at sunrise is a familiar sight to anyone who has spent time in the Gambia. Our new logo and visual identity are inspired by our core values and spirit of being a pioneer in providing a unique banking experience. It is a completely new look that better matches the transformation we have made as a company. But we remain your Trust Bank. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my singular honor to present to you our new logo and corporate identity.
fay lempo warugal la ci képp koo xam ne doomi réew mi nga ak ñu fi dëkk bu fekkee ne ci at mi sa koom-koom weesu na $2,400 dalasi mbete weer bu nekk di nga am lu tollu ci $2,000 dalasi lempo si la nguur gi di sukkandeku ngir liggéey yokkute réew mi GRA mooy banxaas bu nguuri Gambia sas ngir mu fayeku lépp luy lempo ci biir réew mi ba tax na GRA di yëgal faykati lempo yi ne warugal la pour ñu fay lu ñu naan withholding tax on contract payment maanaam bépp contract bu waay joxe te ci biir réew mi lañu toog kon xaalis ci contract bi ngeen nangotoo war nga cee wàññi ci xayma téeméer bu nekk fukka bu fekkee ne contract bi dëkkut ci biir réew mi bu boobaa di nga war a wàññi téeméer bu nekk fukka ak juróom lii mooy lempo bu ñu naan withholding tax on contract payment lii mooy lempo bi nga xam ne yow mi joxe contract warugal la nga wëlbatiku dem fay ko ci maakaani GRA tax office bu la gën a jege mbete ci banque yi GRA jagleel pour fay lempo war ngaa jébal lempo bi si diiri fukki fan ak juróom gannaaw bi nga wàññee ci xaalis si contract bi amul benn contracto bu ñu teggil fay lempo bi xanaa mu fekk ne nguuri Gambia ñoo ko jégale boole si projet yi nga xam ne mbootaay ndimbali ñoo koy dépense GRA di fayeku lempo ngir yokk.
For the first time in the history of the Gambia, Gambia Printing Publishing Corporation proudly introduces the Biliomatic exercise book printing machine. The machine has the capacity to print more than 20,000 books per hour. Yes, 20,000 books per hour. It also prints magazines, newspapers, calendars, flyers, normal books and all kinds of printed documents plus items at affordable prices. With the Biliomatic printing machine, GPPC can now render high quality and non-size restricted printing service supply across the sub-region. Rush now and partner with GPPC for all your public and private printing service needs. Print with us today and you'd be offered highly professional, reliable and efficient service delivery by our team of experts. The Gambia Printing and Publishing Corporation is here to meet all demands and is reliable at all times. For more info, contact us on 437-4493 or 437-4402. GPPC is Gambian and it's yours.
Yiriwa men kafutan na tarambulolu to nga GIA cargo complex parendile pour que julaya sone yandi kadungoni mfunti bundana doko sembentu ya Banjul International Airport to men si nyafa si moluma melka fengolu ki bantala bankolu kan anin julandingolu fana foysi sulan na cargo doko le bang katu masingolu bembulule ikafo meye forklifts melka selendiro ni jindiro ke bagasolu la melbe funti kan waranto ka dunnan na warehouse lu kono nga dinkira sumayari ngolu fana sotole ifula milla fano mu metari kemeleti karo bela adun isi cargo bagasolu tano men sita fo ton tan woro ila sumaya fana futata tembeleto men ka fendolu mabono fo ikana tinya fo sene fengol lombang domori fengolu waranto jata kende ani bori ma fengolu kago bagasolu la taradula kendo asulata jamani labang korosir langolu lela na double view x-ray korosir la masingolu aka kago bagaso kono jubele komi kago doko sartolu ya landi nyameng nyin double view x-ray amu jamani labang rapid scanaleti men ka karafula korosiro keno kago sifa bela wati kiringo kono to na doku lalo imu ayata karandingol leti la dokuo no iframansata kago dokuo na tamandiri nyato na dokuo la betea wayem futandi RA3 makamoleto mensatin na fo nse kago bagasolu kinole kata UK aning EU bankolu kan GIA ka hakili tenkungo dila na dokuo to ite nyina la men.
Every day is a new opportunity to make sure our first impressions are always our best and to see possibilities on the horizon, to make our facilities and services more accessible and find freedom all around us. With a location proximity to active markets, with a liberal air transportation policy, that daily pursuit is how we turn everyday opportunities for you. For all destination marketing support, customized packages for new existing airlines and operators, and for a highly ranked tourist destination, the Gambia Civil Aviation Authority is here to serve. We regulate air transport, operate and manage BIA technical requirements merged with commercial considerations. We have experienced and well-trained aviation professionals to cater for your needs. For investment opportunities in building airport hotels, shopping malls, playground for children, do contact us on 4472-831, 4472-893. Gambia Civil Aviation Authority. We go beyond daily.
We are happy to announce the launch of our new logo. We have evolved since our incorporation in 1997, and it is time to refresh our new look to reflect who we are today. Before I reveal our new look, however, walk with me while I take you through our journey of the last 25 years. Trust Bank was incorporated on July 3, 1997 and began operations on October 1, 1997. Following the collapse of the parent company of its predecessor, Meridian, the CBG stepped in and recapitalized the bank and held the shares in trust, thus the name Trust Bank. In 1999, the first investors who responded to the IPO and paid $1.50 per share received their maiden dividend of 50 bututs per share. In 2000, the bank fully paid back its investment by declaring another dividend of $1.20 bututs per share, making it a cumulative dividend per share of $1.70, which was 20 bututs above the purchase price. Between 2002 to date, share capital has increased from $27 million to $200 million, indicating that the bank has grown organically by plowing back profits to increase capital, while at the same time paying dividends to shareholders. The bank was listed on the Ghana Stock Exchange in November 2002, being the first ever cross-border listing in the sub-region. Now let's talk about awards. The bank was awarded the insignia of the National Order of the Republic of the Gambia, ORG, in the year 2010 by His Excellency the President of the Republic of the Gambia. During the past years, the bank has received so many national and international awards. Banker Magazine, 6 times. Global Finance, 6 times. Gambia Chamber of Commerce and Industry, 5 times. We began operations with 3 branches. Now, we have 18 branches and 20 ATMs and counting. On digital services, mobile app, check. Online banking, check. Transaction alerts, check. Watch this space. We've got more coming. Creating employment, yes, we've got that too. 400 and counting. And we take great care of our people too. Medical insurance, life insurance, private and state pensions, annual pilgrimages for both Muslims and Christians, training, yes, we do them all. One team, one family, one goal. That's the Trust Bank spirit. On corporate social responsibility, we have spent over $50 million in various causes. We care, and so we share. Over the years, we have paid over $1.6 billion to our shareholders, which translates to a whopping $20 per share and counting. Phenomenal returns for our shareholders who purchased at $1.50. Corporate taxes, over $1 billion is paid. Our journey started with a vision to create the kind of company that delivers quality services and innovative products with an inspired team dedicated to serving our customers, our environment, and our communities at large in the most caring manner. We remain fully committed to delivering excellent services to each of our stakeholders, customers, employees, shareholders, and partners. So, we remain true to who we have always been. As we look forward to greater achievements, we are rebranding to reflect who we are today and the future.
If it's one thing Gambia is very proud of now, is spoken word. Spoken word is really, really growing, and we have seen a lot of young people take up literature, and they're doing so well. So it is on that note that I would like to call on a few people that will be doing short pieces here for you right before the mayor comes on. Please put your hands together for Fatoumata Ejalo.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Fatmata Ejalo, commonly called as Fatima Al Hassan. I want to perform a piece on leadership, and it reads, "Let the voices be heard. A true story." Let the voices be heard. A true story, however, ends without an accomplished mission only if it. Our people said, rather than that, it's everything kept in a room can't speak ill of a thief, for justify justice. Only if justice is put to justice, then the justification of justice would be made easy. There are many advocating for peace, but who knows what they really are? For behind the veil is a book in flames, a man with a thick dark heart, a thesis statement. He is paragraph of evil intention, punctuation of corruption, title of perturbations, pages of dissatisfaction, lines of injunctions. This is the story of a man who without the veil is a peace ambassador, who is relentlessly and tirelessly working just to see the reign of peace in his country, yet the country he works for is still in doom. This is quite questionable. Question is, can you advocate for peace when you are the flag bearer of corruption? Dear corrupt leaders, this too is a message that the book is aflame and the true you is none. These present leaders really are misleaders, but enough is just enough. For the Gambia or homeland, peace, love, and unity is what brought us together. Solidarity, loyalty, and respecting the dignity of our beloved country is a security. It is soning kunyanda konanti barkendo duanta bana. Barkendo duancha na Gambia le mundi. So if you can't preach peace, don't give us weapons to start unending battles. Daimo walla tameng, falla tameng. Kono no wo suttude sattude ko accugol ko sutti buri sattande suttudo. Ko menen sutti non ko non acca bayde di hejata wotere bendata wadata yahata mi yahata marsata solla sen. For the Gambia or homeland. Yalna fi jama sahba faw. Thank you.
Well done, well done. That was beautifully said. Digging and you be it. But the mayor also wants to be involved. So please, let's welcome the mayor back as he also enjoys these pieces that these young, brilliant Gambians are performing. The mayor will join us now. But next, I would like to call on Umi Saidi Khan.
shortest one.
Yeah. Assalamu alaikum to everyone. My name is Umisedi Khan, a student from the Job Comprehensive School. I know I am the youngest here. You're all older than me. Okay. I'm here to recite a poem entitled Peace. An nga sifatan fanso fayin koma nimma banka na dati. Al nga fitan bala ayasenia na banko sita nyato jiruwa se siya nka jele nyuma kafea kasi kakacha dula se dia katu yellow wala na Gambia. Konsuma don sara hukat sa solen ma meyon lirek ma ñibi duma tok di har ken ci ñew nan ma aca sibiti kon ne len pexe ñu gene fi li bum fi amati sori loko bum fi jege di xib loko bum fi lekati mar loko bum fi nanati su fu buge takka ñu dagati ñu taccoti feccati begati foxati kafati reyati suñ dëkk Gambia neexat dama jël la kaye boole ngir jël xoli firi jola bi top ne ma eñap ba cara bu reere ma jox ko ekangu leemu door mu ne ma emite kati pol bi top ne ma jonnam pizza mi fala ka laciri ñoo fi gënoon a kontaan mais ñu di naan si ndoxu zamzam waaye xeexante rayante jëlee ñu si boobu kontante dugal ñu si torotande ñu jàngee si ay xam-xam ñi dee ñi laagu ñi gaañu ñi i yaram yu bari jam-jam mais tit bi diis mi xol bi fëgg si dënda bi tegu naan ba la tam-tam. So say, crowd of my crowding brought the rush of the nerves. If paid penetrating deep like a teeth of the devil vampire, killing the enemies aggressively in turn like a caterpillar riding over a tata tire. War, assassination, genocide, brutality, impurity, homicide, and all the peace that could keep us vastly unrebelled. I can remember the pussy of that and his innocent wife. I can remember their defending, screaming and cries. I can remember my heartbeat being destabilized despite myself, making my pull the capside. When society begins to justice, they will realize till peace dies. Thank you.
Well done, well done. And next, I'd like to call on Lamin Dem.
Shortest one.
Good evening to you all. Thank you, my sister. But I am very shocked that the poem is not yours. But anyway, let's go. My name is Lamin Dem, a student of Nemasu Senior Secondary School. I am here to read a poem entitled The Loyal Man. The Loyal Man, Talib Bensouda. I am so proud to have him as a governor in our society. He is a great man whose aim is to develop this country. Although it's not easy, but alhamdulillah, he is trying his level best. He is a great man whose aim is to develop this country, but alhamdulillah, he is doing his level best. The loyal man, Talib Bensouda. I am so proud to have you as a governor in our society. But alhamdulillah, he is trying his level best. It's for the third time. It's not because I am mistaken, but I am repeating for you guys to hear it. I am repeating for you guys to hear it so that you can enjoy it and you can use it for tomorrow and for today and for tomorrow, because it is something that I'm saying to people so that they will use it in their minds and they will use it for tomorrow. The loyal man, Talib Bensouda. I am so proud to see you being our mayor in our country, helping us in anything that we like. Loyal man, Talib Bensouda. I am so proud for you that you are here today, helping us in anything that we want. Listen, please, listen. Listen. The loyal man, Talib Bensouda. I can see many people's names are destroyed. Many people. I can see many people's names have been destroyed because of the corruption going in our country, notwithstanding Gachengala Matali Bensouda. When he stands, he is a lion. When he talks, he is brave. When he promises, he fulfills. When he starts a project, he makes sure he completes it. When he starts a project, he makes sure he completes it. You're working by the government, and thank God you are developing than Rwanda. And Your work is seen by the Gambians, and thank God you are trying to defend Rwanda. It is never easy, but alhamdulillah, you are giving us what you want. The man, Talib Bensouda, for the fourth time.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Lamin. That was a nice one for the lawyer man, Talib Bensouda. Final poet for the night, Honorable Bintu Sane.
Whew. Okay. Good evening. Wow, that's a lot of crowd, huh? Okay. I am so happy to be here. Once again, good evening to everybody and to the mayor. Okay. All right. So because everybody came and talked about leadership, I would like us to go back to where we began until now. Okay. Do this, my hand is little. Okay. All right. I would like us to go back from where we began until date. So, my piece, and enjoy it. Also, I'd like to thank MDI, because I'm representing them, and also the Data Association. All right. So here we go. When me being naked is not enough for the world to see. When my tears are too transparent that you can't see them rolling. When the riches built in me are too much but not enough to feed me. Then what's the ballot, the vote, the future means? By the beginning of time, when everyone thought that I was too weak to be myself, when my people voted for him, for freedom, to free me, right to nationality, for identity, equality, economic independence, for stable growth. Too many reasons that was right to vote him at the time. But when time passed on, he became too old to match with my life. So another right thought by my people, they voted for who they thought was Mr. Right. For him, free education, to educate me, he said, grow what you eat and eat what you grow, to feed me. Infrastructural development, my basic needs were given, maybe less, but at the expense of bleeding me in my sleep. So they voted for him again and again and again. But there comes another Mr. Right, for change, system change, good governance, freedom of expression, rule of law, democracy. Never again, we said. But it's either too right or somehow right too early or too late. So what's the ballot, the vote, the future means? Because it is indeed for us, for my people to be strong, accept, to forgive and be forgiven, reflect on dark days, what happened to us on hostile days, reflect on struggles, how we got naked, yet not enough for the riches built within us to feed us. You know, we got worse days, too much for our tears, with every sin our people gone, no guts to complain, even though we grew bitter in silence. Now we are each other's enemies. We hurt each other, even though we stayed in huts. Now we have stately homes at the expense of our peace, bled each other in our sleep, expecting to let the pain pass in just a sip. You know, what bleeds the heart cannot be forgotten. Justice cannot bring back lost souls, but massage the heart. But yes, we thought we were right. So we did what we believed was right enough, for we, no blames attached, we hold equal share in this mess. To transit as a nation, we will restore justice to victims with bleeding eyes. Each step, a lesson learned. Bring back the peace that was once secured. See, we will speak in one language, the language that defines us. None shall speak for us, for we are path of none, until we accept peace as a norm. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Bintu. Well done. Thank you very much. That marks the end of that session of poets. And now we would like to have and welcome the mayor back on. And we shall proceed with our question and answer session. And I'll start right there. Oh, I didn't see you. I'll come back for you.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullah.
Wa alaikum salam.
My greetings to the mayor, his team, and my fellow students. My name is Sadio Malang, a student of American International University, West Africa, a computer science student by department, and I'm currently the sports minister. In Gambia, we all know that we have talent when it comes to sports, but sports is something that is lacking in our country. We have all seen what the Scorpions did in the previous World Cup, and we have all seen what our young Scorpions did in the African Cup of Nations under 20. So, Mr. Mayor, my question is, I have seen, according to some of your plans, you are building 7 mini parks and renovating some. And I think you have successfully built the one at traffic light around Bakau area, which we really appreciate and we recommend you for. However, there are other projects that foundation stones have been laid, like for instance the one at Serekunda West Mini Stadium. That was back in December 2022, last year. But still we have seen no progress so far. I wonder why. And my question is, when it comes to students, we have problems in accessing these sports facilities, okay? Being that it's either not available or at a very high cost. So what can you and your team do to help students like us to have fully access to these facilities in order to be able to host sports events? Because we all know that sports in Gambia, if the government is willing to invest, is something that is going to take our country forward. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I think your question is perfect. It's a good question. As you rightly said, Gambia has a lot of talented youths with natural skill. However, they don't have the facilities that will enable them to nurture and hone those skills to perfection. And this is why we do very well in tournaments, but when we go at the very competitive level, somehow we cannot pull it off. Because at that level, that is where the training comes in. That is where finishing, that is where the details come in. And you need these facilities to be able to hone your skills to the very highest of levels. So as a council, of course, we are not the Ministry of Sports, but we have a responsibility when it comes, of course, to sports within our region. So we are doing our part. There are parks that the council owns, but does not operate. And this is the zones. So Serekunda East, Serekunda West, Bakau, Serekunda Central, Manjai. These are the 5 zones in KMC. But a long time ago, the council management of these zones was handed to local sporting committees that are elected by the teams of that zone. So the council does not have much say as far as the management of sports. However, we have a say in terms of facilities. So recently what we've been trying to do, we've been looking at the facilities these zones own and to see how we can bring development there. Of course, we don't have the money to say we can build mini stadiums, so we are leveraging on partnerships. So as you've rightly said, we have leveraged on partnership with Africell for the development of the traffic light park. We have leveraged partnership with Africell for the development, of course, of the Serekunda West Park. Now, that park agreement is a 3-part agreement. Africell on one part, the local sporting committee, SWESDO, then, of course, the council. This 3-part agreement has a lifetime of 3 years. Now, the phases in which they will develop it depends on talks when the SWESDO has their sporting programs and when Africell can come in with their budget. As we speak, what I know is they have costed the football field, it's not a turf, but it's grass, at $50,000. It's going to be $100 million a facility. The agreement is signed. Based on our agreement, they have 3 years to build it because it's almost a 20-year agreement. However, for those who are in doubt as to what is the benefit for AfriCell, this model I borrowed from North America, the US per se. What they do is you take a sporting facility, you give the branding rights to a corporate body for a certain period. They pay you money annually to have their name on your stadium. But you run the stadium, you own the stadium. So we just pretty much looked at what we have in Gambia and tried to amend it accordingly. We cannot give them branding rights on an annual basis because we do not have the cash to bring development. So what we said is, pay us upfront via a state-of-the-art facility. Keep your name on that facility. However, that's where you stop. The SWESDO will continue to run the sporting activities and generate income. KMC would like to have shops around this facility where we also get an income to upkeep and maintain the facility. So this is the 3-part agreement. AfriCell has branding rights, SWESDO has a brand new facility, continues their sport, KMC has shops they can collect rent from to make sure there's sustainability. And out of the rents we are collecting, we have said we want to plow back 40% of that income to SWESDO for the support of grassroots football. So in the zone of Serekunda West, we no longer want a team to have to pay the Nawetan fee. We want SWESDO to provide them with the kits, the tools, the bips, the jerseys for their yearly Nawetan. So that is the 3-part agreement. Now, when is to start? What they agreed was before the next Nawetan, but it's on a phase-by-phase basis because they don't want the development of the park to affect the scheduled sports that will be happening in that park. But that responsibility is on AfriCell's desk because they have to take out the financing. Now, the other 7 parks, I know a lot of people are saying, hey, Mayor, minge jehal heri si dekabi, minge de foundation stone election minge ñew. No, what people fail to understand is, I am a mayor still. I still am in my first term. Just because I am going for election doesn't mean I have to stop working. I am still on people's time. The projects we are doing have phases. We laid a foundation stone for the library. That was phase 1. Nobody said we are doing it for politics. The library is almost done. We distributed 10,000 household bins. We built and completed the first community radio owned by a council. That was phase 1. We planted 190,000 trees. That is part of phase 1. We have now entered into phase 2, which is the parks. We started Bakau Park, which is almost done. You should visit Bakau opposite the craft market. Talending South, almost done. You should visit there, the Children's Center. And the 4 parks we have started will start all within the month of April. I promise you, before elections, you'll see big developments in those areas. So we are not working according to an election timeline. We are working according to our mandate and our responsibility to the people. So I assure you, as far as the council is concerned, we are doing everything within our power to leverage on partnerships, to leverage on your taxpayers' money, to leverage on international grants to bring you facilities that will improve sports within our region. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And that one up. Oh, the one behind you. Sorry. Right behind you. Yes, him. Namaragal ni durma. Speak louder, speak louder.
Good evening, Lord Mayor and everyone here present. My name is Ibrahim Ajao. I'm a student studying diplomacy and international relations at the Management Development Institute, and of course the public relations officer of the Diplomacy and International Relations Student Association. First, I would love to comment on the good job Lord Mayor has been doing for the municipality. And of course, I have no iota of doubt that you will continue the good job. Thank you very much. And now my question will be, you made mention of the new development projects you have for the council. My question will be, what procedures do you have as to involve youths and tertiary institutions into these developments? Thank you.
Yes, we are planning 23 kilometers worth of roads within the KM in a project called the KMRNP, Carnifing Municipal Road Network Project. As you know, when we came, our #1 priority, top of our table was waste management. We are doing pretty well there. We think we are almost completed solving the issue, not 100%, but we are managing it. Now we want to shift gears to the second highest priority, which is now the top priority of the people of KM, which is the road network. People, of course, want to have the ability to traverse KM smoothly, and they want to also be able to bypass traffic without having to go through humps. And of course, the erosion that is going on within many neighborhoods is unbearable. So we have committed about 307 million over the next 4 years based on our resources, based on direct taxes, to develop 23 kilometers worth of roads. Now, development of these roads, to be honest, we haven't thought about the community-led version, which is youth-led or whatnot. We're talking about infrastructure here that should serve for the next 20 years. But outside that project, what the youth councillor has been doing is he's been trying to engage youths in communities to see how we can create novel infrastructure or innovative methods to create roads that youths can create through companies they can create. And I think there's a solution that one has proposed, which is using used tires and filling them with concrete to be able to create that base. What we now have also, we have seen youths that have come together and form associations. So in Talinding, there's Under Development Talinding. And Alasan Sar, Funding Baji, these are youths that have come together and said, look, we want to create our own concrete roads. Council or mayor, can you provide us with the tools and resources? So we have provided with 200 bags of cement, a trip of stone, war stone, and of course sand to enable them to do that project. We've had a similar association in Ibo Town, run by a youth called Nyasi. It's called Vision Development, Ibo Town. So they have been able to create almost 200 meters of concrete road in Ibo Town, Badala. And you should go and see it, it's amazing. On a weekend, on Sunday, 100 youths would show up and they would develop these roads. We have also donated them with a lot of materials. If you go to Bakau Farokono, the community also is doing a community-led initiative developing those roads, and we have provided them with the tools. If you go to Bakau Kachikali, it's the same. So we are seeing now in KM, youths are leading and trying to fix their problem, and we are there at the back and trying to support them to create these roads. So that's what we are doing as far as community projects are concerned.
Thank you. I'll just branch off. We have a very important question here from the Facebook page, and this question is by Mike Johnson. His question is, what are the control mechanisms you put in place at KMC to make sure that there is no revenue leakage and corruption, especially with regards to procurement?
So we have a contracts committee at KMC and a procurement office. At the contract committee level, like I said, the chief executive officer is the chairperson. As far as the law is concerned, the finance director should sit on this committee. The planning and development officer should be on this committee. 2 councillors must represent the council in these committees, and 2 experts from the general public. So this is the committee we've set up. But this is for procurements $500,000 and above, which is the GPPA rules. And they must go for tender, and they must be approved by the procurement authority. At the level where procurements are below 500,000, procurement is under the director of administration. So he must come up with policies to ensure that procurements are done properly. 2 areas we look at, of course, are the quality of materials that are bought and to ensure the prices are competitive, they are the right prices. However, we created once through our accounts committee what we called a verified list of vendors. Because what used to happen in KMC is they used to take a lot of briefcase vendors, what we call briefcase vendors, meaning you don't have a shop, you don't have a supermarket, or you're not a retailer. All you do is you come with your briefcase, to KMC and win contracts and go to people who own this material and jack up the prices to make a profit. And of course, give kickbacks in the process. So we've eliminated all the briefcase vendors. When we procure now, we ensure that you have a shop, which is a brick and mortar establishment, and you are verified vendor. Recently, we had an issue where we were procuring furniture for our new building. And of course, when you do a public tender, the briefcase vendors show up. But when our contracts committee did their due diligence, they realized that the guy who was pushing to win the contract did not have a shop. All they did was they went to a shop, I don't want to say the name, but they took prices, jacked it up a little higher, and came and provided an invoice to KMC, and we eliminated them from the vendor list. So this is how we try to eliminate corruption at the procurement level.
Thank you. I hope that answers your question, Mike. And from that side?
So good evening, everyone. I'm Muna Silame, the president of the Gambia College School of Nursing and Midwifery. So my question to the mayor is, most of us that are traveling to Banjul to school are from KM. So if I say, what plan does the mayor have for most of the students that travel to Banjul, looking at the situation at Westfield early in the morning, you have students struggling to get transportation to Banjul, and the same way when coming back to KM. So these people being the youths that are always going to represent KM in most of the activities, like the NECOP that just concluded, some of us were the conference delegates, and we proudly represented KM. So what plans does the mayor have for some of these young people that are traveling from KM to Banjul with regards to transportation, because it actually affects academic. When you get to Westfield struggling with the white uniform, or sometimes during the rainy season, you have to go back home because there's no transportation for you to get to your schools. So what plans does the council have for some of these young people as far as transportation is concerned to get to their various academic institutions?
Thank you. I think I am a witness to the struggle that happens in Westfield every day, because my office overlooks Westfield, where people stop to take cars. And actually in 2020, I saw a physical fight between people trying to compete to enter vans. And almost on a daily basis, there's a quarrel about entering this transport. And it just comes back to the simple economic problem where you have a shortage. Demand outweighs supply. And where you have that problem, of course, government or council should find a solution to ease, because it's a public service. Gambia is one of the few countries in the world where there's no public transportation. Gambia Transport Service is not a public transport company. That is a government-owned private transport company, meaning they are for-profit. Gambia Transport Service is a for-profit company owned by Social Security. So Gambia, since the days of the Gambia Public Transport Company, which is GPTC, in the 80s, Gambia has not had a public transport company, which is shocking, because one of the responsibilities of government is to provide mobility and to ease the movement of people. Everybody cannot have a car. It's not possible. It's just going to create congestion. So government must provide cheap, affordable, efficient service to allow mass transit. So Gambia government has not done that, like I said, since the 80s. And KMC, based on the struggle we have seen on a daily basis within our municipality, have set up a company called Kanifing Municipal Transport, KMT. And that company was set up about 2 years back. And we are looking at how can we provide sustainable, affordable, efficient service. However, based on our studies, we found that public transport must be subsidized for it to be successful. Because, of course, you cannot charge people more than they pay for taxis. It should be cheaper than taxis. That makes it affordable service or public service. But for it to be affordable, government must provide a subsidy, in our case, KMC. So this is what we are trying to contest with. And hopefully in the foreseeable future, we will be in a position to provide mass public transit that is very affordable, and especially affordable for students and people who are above retirement age, like we see in progressive societies.
Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you so much. Still onto the Gambia College. Point considered, Brikama campus and Banjul campus are not part of KMC.
The question gave birth. This is the guy with the pregnant question.
No. That one is
okay,
right here.
Okay.
So yes.
Okay.
Yes, point considered that the Gambia College, Brikama campus and Banjul campus are not part of KMC. Still we are here, and my question goes, with plans laid, what can the mayor do when it comes to the interest of the students of the Gambia College with regards to health and student interest development? Again, with plans laid, can the mayor help or can the mayor assist? So this is my question.
I think this is
Sorry. My name is Abbas Sedi, Vice President, GCSU. Thank you.
Thank you. VP. All right, Abba, thank you so much. I think this is a matter of jurisdiction. Of course, we cannot provide services outside our region, although KMC tests the limits sometimes. When you look at our Mbalit project, our Abuko truck provides waste collection for Lamen. Our Backwater truck provides waste collection for Sukuta. Now, a long time ago, well, not a long time ago, in 2018, myself, the chairman of Brikama Area Council, Banjul City Council, we decided that our councils, the way they are interrelated, and in many cases, we cannot even tell where our borders are. So we said we must create a GBA, intermunicipal committee, Greater Banjul Area Intermunicipal Committee, where we can coordinate our activities and create solutions to common problems. However, that committee failed because of politics. When the 2019 division happened politically, we could no longer coordinate as politicians would usually fight. And I think this is one of the failures of immature politics. The reason I say immature is because political differences should not interfere with administrative processes or things that should be technical. But that was the intention. The intention was for even campuses or anything within this GBA, we could coordinate and bring solutions to a lot of the problems. So we hope as our politics evolves, we can sort of separate our institutional processes and our administrative processes from political shocks.
Thank you. And I will now move to this side. And young lady.
Assalamu alaikum. I am Dai King, a student from MDI, studying international relations, and I'm currently the Assistant Education and Research Minister. So my question goes, what would you do to improve educational outcome, particularly for the low outcome students? And what is KMC without Talib Ahmed Bensouda? Thank
you. So I think that's a very specific educational question. As far as educational outcomes are concerned, like I said, for Charles Jau, we have direct say, we have access. I appoint the board of governors of the school. So how can we impact outcomes? How can we create positive results or high-performing students that we have impact on? And usually it's tied to budget. And most problems around education in the country is budget-related. It's the facilities and resources that can be made available. And of course, what is most underrated is teacher pay. For you to have motivated teachers with the capacity to mold your youth and your students to become productive adults, you need to pay them well. And unfortunately, Gambia pays teachers very poorly. And I think that needs to be fixed first if we are to have better educational outcomes. At the Charles Jau level, we subvent them with about $2.6 million every year to support their educational outcomes, and we pay for a lot of their bills, and we help develop the school. Like I said, we developed the agricultural garden recently, and as we speak, we are designing plans to build an assembly hall. But with the broader question, I think that would be more appropriate for the Ministry of Education. What would KMC be without Talib Bensouda? KMC existed before me, and I'm 100% sure will exist after me. What we want to do is just to leave a positive impact and a positive legacy. We want to ensure that the institution is stronger than we found it. Because when we work in KMC, myself and my council, I have 25 councillors, 19 elected, 6 nominated. We always think about sustainability, life after us. And whatever development we bring, we want to see it be a layer that somebody can come build on top of. That is nation building. It should not stop after you. It should outlive you. And it should be a positive impact on somebody to come. I mean, we would hate a scenario where someone had to come and also trying to fix waste management or trying to find trucks. That should never happen again in KMC. If somebody else comes, they should find that, okay, waste management has been fixed by the previous council. The institution has been strengthened. Checks and balances has been introduced. Now, what new can we do? I think this is what progress is, which is an ongoing process. So KMC, after Talib Bensouda, we hope will be a stronger institution and will continue to be a going concern.
Thank you very much. You. No, the one.
Yes.
My sister.
So I just remembered something. Sorry, Alga. University of Wisconsin in the USA, through our sister city partnership with Madison, we facilitated an MOU with the University of the Gambia to help exchange. So we do leverage on our international partnerships to also support schools and colleges. So that's something that we do.
Thank you very much. My name is Momodu Jane, the Assistant Secretary General of the Media Academy for Journalism and Communication Student Union. So aside of all the questions that were asked, Lord Mayor, the question that I want to ask you, with the high rate of crime within the Kanifing municipality, which is most of the time connected to the issue of underemployment of young people. As the Lord Mayor, what mechanisms do you have, even though you have employed a host of young people who are currently working under your council, but what other mechanisms do you have to employ more young people in order to curb the high crime rate within KM and also to make KMC a safe place for everybody living within KMC? Thank you.
So KMC, I believe, based on latest statistics, has almost 300,000 youths. These are people who are from below the age of 35. That's a large number of youths. I believe more than 50% or 50% are unemployed. But in many cases, I think also some of them are self-employed, but because you really cannot get those statistics, we just say they are unemployed or underemployment, meaning that they don't have the required level of work to sustain themselves and their families. KMC as an institution has 1,400 workers. So there's no chance we can employ enough people directly to have any meaningful impact on youth unemployment within the region. However, what we can do is we can spur economic activity. We can be a catalyst for economic activity, and through our programs and policies and activities, we can create youth businesses or youths engaged in productive sectors. So for example, our youth councilor came up with a $20 million revolving fund that gives small loans to youths in business. And you are right, because of these high unemployment figures, and given that KMC is an urban environment, it's a very densely populated environment, the most densely populated in the Gambia, when you look at the country, the average person per kilometer square is 176 people. In KMC, it's 5,000 people per kilometer square. Household sizes here are also way larger than the average in the rest of the country. So people live in very dense environments where there's a lot of unemployment, and there's a chance that we can create what we call urban slums. And this is all breeding grounds for crime. And when you look at the statistics recently, it is quite appalling. I don't know the exact figures, but I can just say based on reported crime I get at the security task force level, which as the mayor, I am the head in my region, the amount of murders, the amount of drug abuse, the amount of drug cases are all on the rise. This is largely because of population growth, economic depression, and of course, lack of employment. So I think 3 months back, we had a case where a youth was caught with 800 kilos of cocaine in Kololi Tavan. And these stories are becoming more regular. So what we can do at the Kanifing Municipal Council is how to create programs that engage the youth in either extracurricular activities or help them start positive businesses. So in extracurricular activities, we just mentioned the parks, the amenities we are trying to create. So youth have positive things to do, whether be it in sports, whether be it in the arts and culture, whether be it in skills and trade or whatnot. This is what we are focused on. And hopefully, through our initiatives, we want to be in a position to create a lot of youth millionaires that can also give employment to fellow youths. Recently, we are also developing a library, which I told you about. This library will not be an ordinary library. It will have an innovation hub and a repair cafe, meaning youths of various interest areas can come and use that library, from virtual reality, 3D printing, arts and craft, etc. We are also looking to build a theater, an arts and culture theater. We don't yet have the funding, but we have the design. It should be next to the library. It will be a 500-seater theater, and it will have also a gallery. For young artists who are coming up, we can display their arts and try and sell it for them. We've seen this work very well in Ghana, where young artists in Accra, in the National Theater or National Gallery, the gallery will display their arts. They can sell it as high as $200,000, $5,000, and get a commission. So these are things we are trying to copy that are positive. But in the larger issue of youth unemployment, I think it's a macro issue, it's a national issue. I think the government needs to come up with policies that will attract foreign direct investment. That's the only way that we can employ large portions of our population and get them productive and less crime.
Very much. I would like to say at this point, we're almost at the end, but I will pick 3 questions. That means from every group, you get a chance for 1 question. So here. Yeah, hand it to him. He's been up here. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you. I've been raising my hand since.
You have, finally.
Thank you. Okay, assalamu alaikum warahmatullah. My name is Kabir Nyas. Lord Mayor, thank you. Let me just put it, the council have been doing great work with regards to sport, entrepreneurship, and also youth engagement. And I believe you guys really deserve an applause. To start with, my question is related to the gentleman where he asked, and directly your answer, that is the response that you gave. I'm so passionate when it comes to sport. And looking at what the council have been doing, I think it's very positive. But I have a concern. And maybe, I don't know whether there are guiding policies with regards to that or surrounding it. You talk about the parks that we have, the community parks that we have. We understand that the community parks are not, operationally, they are not run by the council. They are run by sport committees, that is local sport committees, that are elected by the football teams playing in those various parks. When we go back to the team looking at transparency and accountability, it is a big concern. It is a concern because you realize that these parks, they raise up to 4 million or 5 million plus if you look at the budget that they do annually for Nawetans. And at the end of the day, if you look at the returns or the impact that these funds that are collected have in these parks is very minimal. It's very minimal. So I was thinking differently. looking at the parks, knowing that they are run by sport committees that are elected by teams. And if you look at the parks, the documents that they sign, the MOUs that they sign with institutions, with partners, council have little or no say over them. I know that the president of the park has a seat in council, that is KM Sport. But you realize, even with that, documents that they sign, it is not sent to KM Sport. KM Sport have no say over those issues because it is the responsibility of the executive, sitting executive, and the stakeholders to decide on these issues. And these are sensitive issues, knowing that council owns the park. The park are owned by council. These sets of individuals will decide on behalf of the entire community. And if we look at the productive of sport and these complexes, they have, looking at the disciplines of sport, both we talk of martial arts, football, volleyball, basketball, all sporting activities, these parks coordinate them. Now, looking at council, can it be diverse? Council maybe take on, the responsibility of managing these parks in terms of accountability, the amount of funds that will be raised, all of this council will coordinate it so that at least you realize that development can come. Because the parks will sometimes sign MOU with JFF, 20 years they will sign an MOU with JFF, and at the end, JFF will not develop the parks as they are supposed to develop. Young people will not have access to the park to play football or do any other activity that they are supposed to do in these parks. And it's a big, big concern. There is no development over these years. Let's just look at the parks that we have. No development. And I believe if council should take ownership, council maybe employ those that will stay in the park, manage the affairs of the park, the funds that are coming into the park, accountability, at least there will be transparency, and council will be able to send auditors to exactly know what is happening within the park. But that is not happening. The millions that are collected, teams will grumble, shout and fight, and at the end of the day, we say we will change the committee, nothing comes out of it. All those funds will go in vain. I think maybe it's a concern, and I don't know what strategies or do you have in place, seeing to it that millions are collected in these parks. The parks are just left like that. Nothing happens after Nawetan. The parks are just like that. And young people always go to these parks. Thank you.
I think you are a member of the KM Sports.
Of KMIC.
That's why you know so much. I think this is you have described it perfectly. You know, when I came into office, I once visited SESDO. Serakunda is Sports Committee. The one at Serakunda is. And definitely when you looked at the state of the facilities, even the toilets, they did not clean them on a daily basis. So the state of the park was so appalling. The moment I assumed office, that was my first question. Why is it that councils own these parks and they are being run by people who are not managing it very well? And that's when I learned about the history of the parks and how it was handed back to the communities to run. To the point that a lot of communities are confused about even the ownership of the parks. You hear them say, no, KMC Momuko, community bako mom. And I will always say, whatever the community owns, KMC Moko mom. Because KMC is elected to manage the affairs of the community and the assets of the community. And who is that community? Whenever we hear people use the word community, we feel that it's a small interest group trying to hide behind the name community. Because the community is the elected councillor. The community is the elected mayor. These are the people recognized by law who are supposed to manage the affairs of the community. So basically what has been happening in the parks is like you said. That's why even with Serakunda West, we conditioned them. We told them the only way we can get you development in this park is if you agree as a committee to hand the management of the facility to KMC. You can manage the sports, we will manage the facility. They agreed. That's why we found that deal for them. Because nobody will invest in a park where a committee will sit and be running it as they like. Because if I invest my money, that committee starts mismanaging the facility. Remember, and they have a lifetime. They are voted every 4 years. If they leave, another radical committee comes, my investment is a risk. So people will only agree to enter partnership with the council, which is a legally mandated authority to run that facility. So what we are saying, we are trying to use the Serakunda West development as a pilot project. If it works, and when it works, and I believe it will work, we will then take back each park one by one and bring development. So this is the strategy we want to use. But like you rightly said, there's a lot of money being made by these parks that are under-declared. So what we will also look at is to, like you suggested, try to have more involvement, which is the audit. But to our surprise, like you said, the same teams that are grumbling about the committees, if you try to change those committees, are the same teams that will fight you. So it is quite a complex relationship. We don't want to take anybody's power. We don't want to exploit anybody. We just want grassroots football to work. We just want the parks to bring maximum benefits to the youths. But like you rightly said, if a committee cannot do that, definitely the council has to intervene at some point to make sure those facilities are made available. But remember, it is very politically sensitive, and one can lose a lot of political capital because the very people you may be trying to help can be the very people fighting you. We've seen it in Bakau, where they burned the field. Did you hear about that story? When they was trying to bring some development there, and the youths burned the field. We've seen Fatou in Manjai Park, where there was a multi-million-dollar facility there, AstroTurf, which is quite modern facility, but because of this fighting about control and money, go there now. It's destroyed. The AstroTurf is destroyed. So Serakunda West is a model, we think, where the teams will win, the committee will win, the investor will win, the council will win. When it works, we will try to roll it across the municipality.
Thank you very much, young lady.
Oh.
Sorry, she's been crying. I don't want any more problems.
I've cried enough. I'm even hungry. Yes. Well, my name is Fatmata A. Jallo, a student from the Management Development Institute, and I'm studying Diplomacy and International Relations. Well, my question is, considering some of the patients in the hospital, they're normally supposed to be taken to other places for surgery, and then the cost is so expensive that most of them can't afford it. So, my dear Mayor, what can you do to help these people? Because these people's lives are really at risk. Thank you.
I think what you're talking about is medical insurance. I think the government is rolling out a national health insurance plan. I'm not sure if that covers local treatment and evacuation, but what you're talking about is evacuation, I believe. I think most of these local plans don't cover evacuation. You literally need international insurance coverage, which costs a lot of money. Medical insurance is not cheap anywhere in the world. Medical treatment is not cheap anywhere in the world. So I think this is why the government wants to create a national health insurance policy and a plan that everybody pays in and benefits from. It's been very slow. We heard that it was being rolled out, but there's no news yet. I think there's the digital birth registration, and that's what it's about. But what you're talking about, a council cannot do. We simply don't have the resources. It costs a lot of money. I do receive a lot of letters from the community. Many people with health problems who want support of evacuation. Unfortunately, we have to turn them down. It's just not a program the council can afford or has in-house. But we hope under the Ministry of Health that the national health insurance policy comes in play and at least some of these issues can be resolved.
Thank you very much. And at that end,
That's a popular guy.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullah, everyone. I am Ismail Chuba, the president of Gambia College. It's indeed a great pleasure and appreciation from you, the Lord Mayor, for giving us this opportunity to have a dialogue with you. As the president of the GCSU, my Lord Mayor, In the Gambia College, we have 4 schools. We call it the 4 sister schools in the Gambia College, which includes the School of Nursery, the School of Education, School of Agriculture, and then School of Public Health. This college is one of the largest institutions in the Gambia, which consists of about 15,000 students. And we, as the student union, we are running the affairs of all these students, including another campus that is in Basse. So, my Lord Mayor, since I assumed office, the complaints I've received from students is too much. But me as the president, what I will say is, as stated by my VP and then the sport minister, that the Gambia College is not under the KMC, but under Birkama Area Council. So my question is, you as the Lord Mayor, is your office open for us as the student union to provide any form of support, especially in terms of facilities that we can use to carry out our cleaning exercise in our various dormitories? So on that note, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President. I wish I am popular like you one day. So I think we have once assisted Gambia College, am I correct? Director of Service. I think we have once assisted you in BINS, huh? Yeah, I think we have once assisted you. I mean, just because your campus is physically in Birkama Area Council doesn't mean people from KMC are not attending the college. I'm sure a large population of your students are actually KM residents. So of course we are obligated to support you where we can. It can be tricky though when it comes to the physical campus, given that it's physically not in our jurisdiction. But I think when you have programs, being that you are a national body, if you have programs, I think we can support programs, if I am not wrong, Director of Administration. Maybe what we cannot support is anything that deals with the physical campus, because that is outside our jurisdiction. But it's a tricky line that we can explore. But I do believe we've supported an initiative you've had before. So pay a courtesy call, and then we can explore how we can help. Yeah. The question has given birth.
Thank you very much.
I think he deserved the last question. The bat. Let it give bat.
Okay, simmer down, everyone. Simmer down, everyone. Apparently, the question has delivered. Yes? Okay, you take the final question of the night then. Come grab it then, because his question's been pregnant since the beginning of the show. Go on, go on. This is meant for students.
Thank you.
No, you're not.
Yes.
No, you're not.
Madam Moderator, before I start delivering my question, I want to believe there is lunch, or let me say dinner, for us. Because, yes, I want to believe you running away from our questions is because there is no dinner place for us.
Okay. And I needed a baby born already. I didn't need a pregnant question,
No
which is
worries.
why I went to pick other questions. But go ahead.
Okay, yeah, thank you very much. My question goes straight like this. In your capacity as the Lord Mayor of KMC, you rightly said anything that will deal with the physical, it will be too critical to deal with. I want to say this. Serving the interest of the students of this nation, in my capacity, I will see it as there should be no jurisdiction in it. Because these same students will be the future leaders of this nation, are already the leaders in the making of this country. So I want to see this as anything that matters the students, so do away from matters of jurisdiction. And let's see the future of this nation at first. As you rightly said here, that anything that comes in developmental plans, partisan politics should do away from it. Then jurisdiction also should do away when it comes to matters interest to the students. Like in your capacity again as the Lord Mayor, what plans do you have to make sure that the same institution we are talking about, accumulating around 50,000 students above, is not even having a correct water supply. It's not having a correct union complex whereby the students who are running the affairs of the union who are running the affairs of the students don't even have what you call an office where they can sit and they run these affairs of the students. That's number one. Number two, we want to also promote sports in our institution, but there is no means how we can promote sports. There is nothing in the office of the sports. Thank you very much.
So the reason we say jurisdiction is a matter of legality. So when you look at the council, we are guided by two acts mainly. There's the Local Government Act and there's the Finance and Audit Act. In the Finance and Audit Act, it says where tax is generated, the revenues of those taxes should not be used in other regions where the tax is not generated. So local councils are different from national government. National governments, of course, the taxes are national and their jurisdiction is all over the country. For us, remember, we have a constituents that pays us taxes to solve their local problems. So it is not allowed for us to take their taxes and solve another jurisdiction's problem. But like I said, with the university it's tricky, because though your campus is situated in another region, you have students, a lot of them from KM, attending your university. So that is the gray, what they call the gray area of the law. Whereas even people paying taxes in KMC are attending your school because they're a national institution. It just happens to be you have a campus in a different region. So that we have to sit, you have to visit. We have to discuss with our administration, look at our policies, also seek legal advice. What is possible is that we can create opportunities to support your school through our networks and our partners to bring you borehole, for example, and other materials you may need. That we can do through leveraging partnerships we have. So it's not that we are abandoning you. We're just saying we have legal bottlenecks we have to review before we can spend taxpayers' money in your campus. That's it. Yeah.
Thank you very, very much. Thank you very much. I would like to thank the schools present here tonight: University of the Gambia, MDI, Stratford, Insight Training Center. Ooh, that's my alma mater. Hello, Insight students. Islamic Open University, Gambia College, Smart Professional College, USET, GTTI, Hadigala, American International University, and MAJAC. I don't know if that's MAJAC or MAJAC. MAJAC. There you go. Thank you very, very much for being present here tonight. Before we wrap up, since we have all these prestigious schools here, will there be anyone volunteering to do the closing remarks? Any student? Wow, after all that loud talking, no one's going to volunteer?
There's one there. There's one.
You want to? Come up here then. That's what I like. Do you want to deliver or do you want a question? Because the questions are close.
Assalamu alaikum.
Okay, when she's done.
Good evening, everybody. I welcome you all to this beautiful gathering. But once again, I have to say this. Welcome to the Gambia where everybody is waiting for everybody to come so we can start our event. This is why we're always late. And it's culture. And I hope we work in that. I wish to thank everybody here and most especially to Mr. Bensouda for giving us, Mayor.
Lord Mayor.
Okay. For giving us the opportunity to ask questions, even though I didn't have the opportunity and I desperately wanted to ask him a questions. It's okay, my fellow students did, and that's enough. Thank you for involving the students. This is really great. And I hope that all these questions that you've been asked and you answered, we hope to see progress. And the answers that you gave us, we hope to see them. Well done on your achievements and good luck on the elections. Once again, thank you to the students. There's nothing that is gained out of this, but I believe that your doubts have been cleared, even if not all. but majority of the doubts have been cleared, and this is what we hope to see. The gathering and the turnout is really good. I really wasn't expecting it when I first came here, because when I came here, there was nobody. There was just 2 people, and in the end, I show up. The only thing we need to work on is time, please. This issue of Gambian time needs to be tackled. Thank you.
Thank you. And now, for pictures, if you're please interested in having a picture or selfie with the mayor, this is your opportunity. I'll start. We will have a group shot first. Everyone please gather around.
He's supposed to be closing the event with a remark. Yes.
He can still do it. He's here. Do it then. Hello? There you go.
We just wanted to say thank you to all the students.
Let me just wrap up here. I missed something. That's what he's just doing. And then we.
I want to have a picture. No problem. A few people, of course, Mr. Suleiman Sar, and Madam Binta Kamara, and of course, Fanta Sise. You guys did a wonderful job, Isa to Pal. So we just want to say thank you to everyone, and we hope to see you guys very soon. Thank you.
Fanta, thank you so much. Thank you too. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hello? Hello? Hello?
Yiriwa men kafatan na tarambulolu to nga GIA cargo complex parendile pour que julaya sone yandi kadungoni mfunti bunda na doko sembentu ya Banjul International Airport to men si nyafa si moluma melka fengolu ki bantala bankolu kan anin julandingolu fana foysi sulan na cargo doko le bang katu masingolu bembulule ikafo meye forklifts melka selendiro nin jindiro ke bagasolu la melbe funti kan waranto ka dunnan na warehouse lu kono nga dinkira sumayari ngolu fana sotole ifula milla fano mu metari kemeleti karo bela adung isi cargo bagasolu men sita fo ton tan woro ila sumaya fana futata tembeleto men ka fendolu mabono fo ikana tinya fo sene fengol lombang domori fengolu waranto jata kende ani bori ma fengolu kago bagasolu la taradula kendo asulata jamani labang korosir langolu lela na double view x-ray korosir la masingolu aka kago bagaso kono jubele komi kago doko sartolu ya landi nyameng nyin double view x-ray amu jamani labang rapid scanaleti men ka karafula korosiro keno kago sifa bela wati kiringo kono to na doku lalo imu ayata karandingol leti la dokuo no iframansata kago dokuo na tamandiri nyato na dokuo la betea wayem futandi RA3 makamoleto mensatin na fo nse kago bagaso lukinole kata UK aning EU banko lukan GIA ka hakili tenkungo dila na dokuo to ite nyina la men.
Every day is a new opportunity to make sure our first impressions are always our best and to see possibilities on the horizon, to make our facilities and services more accessible and find freedom all around us. With a location proximity to active markets, with a liberal air transportation policy, that daily pursuit is how we turn everyday opportunities for you. For all destination marketing support, customized packages for new existing airlines and operators, and for a highly ranked tourist destination, the Gambia Civil Aviation Authority is here to serve. We regulate air transport, operate and manage BIA technical requirements merged with commercial considerations. We have experienced and well-trained aviation professionals to cater for your needs. For investment opportunities in building airport hotels, shopping malls, playground for children, do contact us on 4472-831, 4472-893. Gambia Civil Aviation Authority. We go beyond daily.